Hello and welcome to this month's subscriber video. I'm Nicola, 1/3 of the Discovery team, and this month we're going to be talking about Karugondo Brothers, which is a washed coffee from the Dutcher estate in Kiambu, Kenya. This is one that we'd like to call a fruity little number. Without further ado, let's brew. Okay, I'm back and I have brewed my coffee. I brewed it on a V60 today, which I think makes the cleanness and the fruitiness of this coffee really stand out. So let me tell you about the coffee. So it's a Kenyan coffee grown by the Karugondo brothers. That's the four brothers that live on a farm together. And their farm is located just outside Nairobi. So if you look at the label, it's actually inspired by the location of the coffee, which is just outside the urbanisation of the city and just in the countryside. They grow their coffee there on their farm, and they've got some cattle and some animals as well. The coffee is a really typical Kenyan. So the variety is SL28 and SL34, which are really common in Kenya. And the reason for that is they're both resistant to disease and also have a really deep root structure. So that means that when it's super dry in Kenya, they can still suck up plenty of moisture to help them grow. How does it taste? Delicious, obviously. It is really fruity. We have a joke in Discovery that when we've got a fruity coffee, we always call it a fruity little number, inspired by our friend Ross. So the cupboard notes we've put on there are cranberry, blackcurrant and marzipan. And I would say that when you drink it, which I'll do now, it's just super clean, super complex and really fruity and juicy. For me, that's like the perfect coffee, just nice and bright and just so easy drinking. So yeah, that's today's coffee. It's a washed coffee, and actually I thought I would give you a quick lesson in processing. So here goes. Okay, so processing. What do we mean when we talk about the coffee being processed? We're talking about the coffee going from being a cherry through to being picked and then becoming a green coffee bean, which is how it is before it's roasted. And there's different ways of doing that. Once you've picked the cherry, you can process it in a washed process, which is what this Kenyan is, or a natural process, and these are two main processes. And then there's some in between, which are honey processes. So let's talk about the wash process. What happens is the coffee is picked and it comes in a cherry. A picture of that there, please, Jenny. Okay, and then it's put in a depulper, and what that does is it takes the pulp of the cherry off. We'll have a picture of that here, please. And that's a picture of the coffee that's been depulped. So the cherry is removed, but the mucilage is still on. And the mucilage is this sticky, sweet outer layer to the coffee bean. What we do with that is we then put it in a fermentation tank for between 12 and 24 hours. So in the fermentation tank goes all those green coffee beans with that mucilage on, and the mucilage starts to break down, and it makes the coffee sweeter and funkier the longer it's left in there. But you don't leave it in for too long, because if it's left in for too long, it'll kind of go vinegary and not taste good. So once it's been in the fermentation tank, it's then taken to be washed. And this usually happens in long channels where the coffee is washed and cleaned, and that mucilage is cleaned off. So that happens then once it's nice and clean, it's then put out usually on raised beds to dry. So what that is it's a big open bed, and all the coffee's laid out and spread out so that it can dry nice and slowly. The reason we want it to dry not too quickly is the longer and the slower the drying process, the more complex the coffee usually is. And the result of a washed coffee is you usually have something super clean and super bright. Now the difference between that and a naturally processed coffee, and I'll explain the natural process another time, is with naturally processed coffees, the cherry is left on for much longer. And what that does is that gives you a sweeter, more boozy coffee. So they're the two different ends of the spectrum. And that is your quick lesson in processing. So as I said, today, a washed coffee from Kenya, probably one of the cleanest, brightest, fruitiest coffees we will send to you. I really hope you enjoy it. Thanks very much, and I'll see you next time.